Have you ever felt that after everything you've done for your child, you're not getting the respect you deserve? Have you ever asked yourself why, after all the sacrifices and unconditional love you've given, are you met with indifference or even disrespect? What if the key to navigating this pain lies not in your child's actions, but in how you respond to them? In this post, we'll explore how Stoic philosophy can help you confront these feelings and regain your inner peace. Let's begin. 1. The poison of unmet expectations. Have you ever felt that your child should be more grateful? That after all the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, and the countless efforts, the very least you deserve is some respect and appreciation? The pain of feeling unappreciated isn't just about what you've done for them. It goes deeper, touching on who you are as a parent. This is where Stoic philosophy offers us a crucial lesson. Expectations, especially unspoken ones, are often the root of much of our suffering. The expectations we place on others, particularly our children, are often imagined ideas of how they should behave or respond. We create a mental image of what love, respect, or gratitude should look like, and when reality doesn't align with that image, we feel as though something has been taken from us. Seneca once said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectation, which depends on tomorrow and wastes today." The Stoic approach teaches us that attachment to how things should be is what causes disappointment and frustration. Think about how many times you've hoped for a thank you, a visit, or simple act of appreciation from your child. But when those things don't happen, the result is more than just disappointment. It feels like a personal failure, a failure of your role as a parent. And this feeling builds, leaving you stuck in a cycle of unfulfilled hopes and emotional pain. Here's the key. You can't control how your child responds to you. They have their own life, their own experiences, and their own way of seeing the world. By holding on to expectations of how they should behave, you're essentially giving away your peace of mind. Epictetus taught that we should focus on the things we can control, not what's beyond us. We can control how we choose to respond to our children's actions, but we cannot dictate how they will act. The lesson is clear. The only way to find true peace is to release expectations. This doesn't mean you stop loving your child or stop wanting the best for them, but it does mean letting go of the idea that they owe you anything in return. When you do this, you free yourself from the emotional weight of unmet expectations and open up space for peace and acceptance to grow. Acceptance of what is, rather than what you hope for, is the key to breaking free from the poison of unmet expectations. 2. When love becomes emotional debt. As a mother, it's natural to give your love unconditionally, expecting nothing in return. From the moment your child is born, every sacrifice, every worry, and every decision is driven by deep, unconditional love. But what happens when that love starts to feel like an emotional debt? When you begin to feel that your child owes you something in return for all the sacrifices you've made? This is where the Stoics offer us profound wisdom. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do good willingly and without expecting any reward." True love, according to Stoic philosophy, is given for the sake of love itself, not to get something back. But over time, we can fall into the trap of thinking that our love is a transaction, that the effort we've poured into raising our children should be paid back in some way. When love becomes an emotional debt, we start to expect certain behaviors or actions from our children, whether it's respect, attention, or even support in our old age. We give, but we also secretly hope for something in return. And when those expectations aren't met, we start feeling resentment. We might not say it out loud, but deep down, we feel like we've been wronged. Take Rosa, for example. She dedicated herself entirely to her children, sacrificing her time, energy, and even personal dreams. She expected that, as her children grew older, they would return the favor by visiting her regularly, spending time with her, and taking care of her needs. But as her children built their own lives, her eldest son, Pedro, became increasingly distant. He prioritized his career and new family, and Rosa's quiet hopes went unfulfilled. Instead of love flowing freely, an invisible debt built up between them. The Stoic lesson here is to release the need for something in return. When we love, it should be because we choose to, not because we're trying to collect a debt. Love that is given with expectations can create pressure on both sides. It pushes our children into feeling that they must repay us, and this creates a barrier in the relationship. To free yourself from this cycle, shift your focus. Recognize that you chose to give. Every decision you made to love and sacrifice was your choice, not alone to be paid back. When you stop expecting repayment, you stop creating resentment. This doesn't mean you have to accept mistreatment or lack of care, but it does mean that your emotional peace no longer depends on what you receive. True freedom comes when we love without conditions, allowing our relationships to grow from a place of genuine care, not obligation. Let go of the emotional debt, and you will not only free your child, but also free yourself to experience love in its purest form, without strings attached. 3. The root of disrespect lies in the lack of boundaries. As a mother, you may have given everything: your time, your love, your energy, often without hesitation or a second thought. You've sacrificed so much, and yet when respect seems to fade, it's easy to feel hurt and confused. But one thing that is often overlooked is the lack of boundaries. Healthy relationships, whether with your children or anyone else, are built on clear boundaries. When those boundaries aren't set, it can create a situation where disrespect quietly creeps in. Think about it. If you are always available, always giving, always putting everyone else's needs first, your child might begin to see your sacrifices as just something you do, not something that's valued. Without boundaries, they might start to take you for granted. They may expect you to always say yes, never ask for anything in return, and never demand respect. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Love everyone, but trust only the few who deserve it." This is a key Stoic lesson. Loving unconditionally doesn't mean we should allow ourselves to be walked over or treated disrespectfully. I've seen it in my own life. When we don't set clear limits, we send the message that our time and energy are endless. And when we don't protect ourselves, we end up feeling resentful and drained, which in turn can lead to more disrespect. This pattern can create a toxic dynamic where you give and give, but there's no balance and no one learns to respect your needs or your time. The Stoic response is simple. Set boundaries with compassion and clarity. It's not about being harsh or withdrawing love. It's about creating a space where both you and your child can thrive with mutual respect. When you establish healthy boundaries, you show that you respect yourself. And by doing so, you teach others to respect you too. This doesn't mean you love any less. It means you value yourself enough to protect your own time, energy, and emotional well-being. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love. And when you start to do this, you'll find that not only does your relationship improve, but your peace of mind will grow stronger as well. In the end, the lessons from Stoic philosophy don't just help us face challenges in our relationships with our children. They offer a path to inner peace. By letting go of expectations, learning to set boundaries, and loving without expecting anything in return, life becomes lighter and more fulfilling. Start taking action today and watch how your perspective on relationships begins to shift. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the Stoic Beacon so you don't miss out on future content. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.